Moments before writing your pattern, your breath catches, your hand tightens on the reins, that invisible barrier between potential and performance. I know that intimately. On today's podcast, I'm going to share my mental reset ritual that I shared recently inside of Resilient Rainer Academy so that you can steal it and use it for yourself.
Welcome to the Resilient Rainer, the premier podcast focused on mental performance for equestrians and improved horse show performance. Whether you're a rookie reiner or a seasoned competitor, this show is for riders who want to take their skills to the next level and achieve their full potential in the show ring. I'm Nicole Burnett, and I'm a master mindset coach who's obsessed with helping you achieve all those horse dreams you always thought were impossible. Join me each week to develop a show-ready mindset and gain the competitive edge you need to compete with confidence.
Well, welcome back, friends. I'm so glad to talk to you again. It is the week of Christmas. Got up my headphones on because my kids are playing with their friends, making cookies, making a bunch of noise. So hopefully I'm able to record the podcast, with good enough sound, but I think it'll be fine. Now, in today's podcast, I wanted to share something from a recent office hours inside of Resilient Rainer Academy. So, in Resilient Rainer Academy's monthly office hours, we don't just talk about writing. We're really getting into deconstruct the mental landscape that determines champions. And I like to think of this as a taste of the work that I also do with my private clients and inside of the mental gym for equestrians. And last month, there was a seasoned competitor, and I got a message asking me about this challenge that I know is so common and really echoes in arenas around the world. So, after bombing my last raining pattern, I just feel like I've lost all of my confidence. What strategies can help me bounce back? Now, her story isn't unique. This is a universal truth for Western writers, right? Technical skill crumbles without mental resilience. But luckily for you, one writer's breakthrough can become a roadmap for others. One of the things with performance anxiety is that there's layers to it. It shows up in layers. It's not just one thing, right? And so we don't want to just address symptoms. We want to get down and excavate out the root. And here, for example, this can be a pattern of internal criticism that you've developed over years of writing and competitive writing. And then her horse, of course, very intuitive, very responsive, was just reflecting back her mental state in his performance long before she recognized this in herself. So, inside of RRA with these office hours, I don't think of these as just coaching sessions. These are precision interventions. Think of it as tactical conversations that transform how you can think, perform, and ultimately succeed. So, if you've ever been curious to peek behind the curtain of some professional mental coaching or inside of RRA, this episode is for you. And if you like this, if you like getting kind of a peek into what that might look like, let me know and I can do some more episodes like this. So, every month, my Resilient Rainer Academy members are invited to live office hours. So, this is just a raw, unfiltered opportunity to dive into the mental challenges that can make a Western rider's success. And if you are a new listener or you don't know, Resilient Rainer Academy is my program for Western riders that is all about developing your own unshakable confidence. You need to get your self talk right. You need the confidence to win. And it is fabulous. I have non competitive riders in there who are just becoming more confident riders. I have highly competitive riders in there who are very focused on the confidence to win in competition. It's really great. And so, what I love about these calls is the vulnerability and the courage that riders bring. Because whether it's office hours inside of RRA or if it's inside Mental Gym, which is my program all about giving you an unshakable foundation across all the mental skills with resilience, focus, confidence, all of the things you need, or if it's in one on one coaching, you have to be courageous and you have to be vulnerable. Because if you're not willing to face exactly what you're feeling and exactly what you're going through, you can't make real progress. So these writers aren't just asking questions, it's really peeling back layers of mental barriers that have been holding them back, sometimes for years. And doing this with a supportive community of fellow writers. And so we break through those limitations together. Okay, so what did I say at this last office hours about handling it when I just bomb my pattern? It's really impacting my confidence. What's something I can do to help myself? And so, what does that mean for you, of course, right? So, even if you aren't a rainer, I also want to point out that this question is so relevant. We have all wondered, what can I do to improve my mental resilience after a poor performance, right? It's so hard not to dwell on what went wrong. I get it. That's what got me into this in the first place was I have been there. And I'll be honest, the sting of a poor performance is tough and it really just it makes you pucker up like you just bit into a lemon. But building resilience is all about how you frame the experience and what you do next. So, here is your step by step plan. I'm going to share with you exactly what I shared inside of Resilient Rainer Academy. Okay, so I broke this down into 6 steps. So, if you're taking notes, just know that there's 6 steps. So, first, give yourself permission to feel frustrated. But here's the key, make it a time limited experience. I'm never going to say don't ever feel your feelings. Emotions are just information, right? We usually layer on so much on top of our feelings, but literally a feeling can just be a feeling. And so it's allowed to just be a feeling. Okay. So, first, give yourself permission to feel frustrated. If you're upset, be upset. But like I said, take 5 minutes to really sit with those emotions. You can call a buddy, scribble in your journal, or just let yourself acknowledge the sting of a performance that didn't go as planned. I get it. You care. You wanted to do better and it didn't go well. So just acknowledge that upset feeling. But then, and this is crucial. You have got to shift gears. And I get it. It can be hard because literally that's so much of my job is helping people learn how to shift, right? It's hard to shift. And so reframing becomes your secret weapon. Instead of getting stuck in a loop of what went wrong, start asking yourself, ask yourself questions. What is this moment trying to teach me? Maybe your horse spooked during warm-ups or you felt like your timing was off. Each of these moments is packed with information. A missed lead change isn't a failure, it's feedback. What can you adjust in your training? What subtle communication might you improve with your horse? Were you off balance? Okay, so we started with acknowledging the disappointment briefly, reframing the experience. And then the third thing is we're going to practice a mental reset ritual. Okay, so this is a quick mental reset ritual that I teach my riders. It might sound simple, but it is incredibly powerful. So I'm literally going to teach you a mental reset ritual right here, right now. So first thing, there's 3 parts. You are going to take 3 slow, deep breaths, focusing on the exhale. In and out, and in and out. And the third, and in and out. Beautiful. Now, say to yourself, I release this ride. I am not defined by any one performance. Again, you're just going to tell yourself, I release this ride. I am not defined by any one performance, any one ride. Now, you're going to visualize your next ride going well for 60 seconds, okay? You're going to see yourself riding confidently, smoothly, connected with your horse. You're going to do that for 1 minute. This trains your brain to reset and shift focus. So you're going to try this and then tag me at Nicole Burnett Mental Coach or send me a message and let me know how it goes for you. But I love this. Now, let's talk gratitude. This is the fourth part of the step by step plan. Even on your worst day, there is something to celebrate, always. Maybe you kept your composure in a chaotic arena. Perhaps your horse responded to you, even if not perfectly. These are not small things. These are the building blocks of your growth as a rider. All right. Gratitude builds resilience. And step 5 here, taking action. Taking action is how you quiet that negative mental loop. I want you to grab a notebook and write down one or two specific adjustments that you're going to make in your next training session. This isn't about beating yourself up, it's about giving yourself a concrete path forward. Remember, control comes from action, it comes from the present moment, it's not from dwelling. And then finally, step 6, focus on the bigger picture. Zoom out. One ride, one day, it does not define your entire riding journey. You are building something bigger here. Professional reigners, world champions, they have all had days where nothing went right. I was watching one of the NFR barrel racers recently, and literally, these ladies are the top 15 in the world. And in one night, we had a rider knock down 2 barrels. One rider had her reins break, right? I mean, stuff is happening. And the difference, they show up again the next day, right? They learned, they observed, they kept riding. Mental resilience is a skill, just like any maneuver that you practice in the arena. It takes intentional work, it takes patience with yourself and a commitment to growth. Your most challenging rides often become moments that transform you as a rider. So let's recap. Acknowledge the disappointment briefly. 2, reframe the experience. 3, practice a mental reset ritual. I've literally just taught you how to do that. 4, celebrate what went right. 5, take action with a growth plan, not just scattershot here, not buckshot. We've got action with a plan. And 6, focus on the big picture. The most successful writers that I work with don't just read about these strategies or listen to me prattle on, they make them a tangible part of their training routine. So let me give you an example. So there's a competitive trainer I work with who, after a particularly rough show where her horse was just really struggling, they're really struggling with their lead changes. So I had her create a small ritual. She keeps a little leather bound journal in her truck specifically for post ride reflections. So immediately after a ride, challenging or not, she's going to spend 5 minutes. She spends 5 minutes writing. She's not just complaining, but we're going to strategically break down what happened. So her process looks like this. We've got 3 columns or 3 notes. First column, what actually happened? So making objective observations, all right? And then sometimes they add, but often like later in the week when we would talk, we're going to add 2 other things. We're going to add a second column with potential reasons why, like what happened, right? So if the ride went really well, are there any potential reasons why that ride went really well? And if the ride went poorly, what are potential reasons why it went sideways? Okay. And then the third column, 1 to 2 specific things to adjust in the next week's training. And so again, we have gone from neutral observations to understanding and clarity to actual concrete physical action steps, which yields improvement in the saddle. Now, the most transformative implementation I see comes from riders who treat mental training like physical training. They're doing exercises. And just like they'd schedule time in the arena, they schedule time for mental preparation. Some riders I work with do daily 5-minute visualization exercises, imagining perfect patterns, smooth transitions, responsive horse, circling back to step one, honestly, of the process that I shared with you today, one particularly powerful approach that I've seen over and over is just writers who we talk and they implement the 30-minute rule. So after a challenging performance or a challenging ride, they give themselves exactly 30 minutes to feel frustrated. So they might vent to a friend, write in a journal, or just sit with the emotion, just be angry, whatever. But after those 30 minutes, it's done. They reset. And it's not just young riders or youth riders who struggle with this. I have noticed that riders of all ages and abilities can have an intense emotional reaction where a single bad run can really feel like the end of the world. And the most successful ones learn to separate their self worth from their performance. And they understand that, mislead change or spooky horse, it doesn't define them as a rider or a person. The riders who implement these strategies most effectively, they have one thing in common. They see mental training as a skill to be developed. If you would pardon me, let me climb on my soapbox and repeat that. They see mental training as a skill to be developed, just like their writing skills. Okay, I'm climbing off my soapbox. They're curious. They're willing to be uncomfortable, and they understand that resilience is built, it's not born. Of course, if this is your vibe, come join us inside Resilient Rainer Academy. It is your literal step by step blueprint and training to build your own unshakable confidence as a rider, whether you are a beginning rider looking to be more confident in the saddle, or if you are an experienced rider looking for the confidence to win. It is the place to be. And I did also mention my program, Mental Gym for Equestrians, which is coming back. We're having another round about to start. And that is all about, I like to think of Resilient Rainer Academy as very focused on confidence and also show prep, where we talk about creating your own pre run routine and just show specific competition specific skill sets and mindsets that you need to really shine under competition. And Resilient Rainer Academy, think of it this way, like if you were competing in a bodybuilding competition, you still need somebody to come in on show day and help you get the spray tan to teach you how to pose and flex your muscles and do all these things to place your best at the show. That is what Resilient Rainer Academy, like how I like to think about it. And then mental gym is like your day in, day out training plan, your mental training plan, where it'd be like in the gym, you'd be like, okay, leg day, arm day, whatever. In mental gym, this is all of the foundational mental skills you need as a writer. And it is so fun, so comprehensive. It's amazing. And of course, if you really want to work one on one, always reach out because I'm so excited. I love working with writers and seeing you just blossom, seeing you really come into your own. So, anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have the merriest of Merry Christmases, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, all the amazing things. Thank you so much for being here. If you love this podcast, please leave a review on iTunes or share it with a friend. Really helps me to reach more people with this message. But again, thank you so much for being here. And I just wish you all the best and a happy new year.